Welcome to our webinar. This is CLIQ FX Company. My name is Olga, and welcome back for those who continue to listen to us. I would like to mention that our webinar is interactive, so you can leave your comments and ask questions if something is not clear within the webinar in the section comments. So we will appreciate your feedback. So today our topic is candlestick analysis or candlestick patterns. And I would like to say that in spite of maybe hundreds of patterns, the candlestick patterns existing in the market, it's very easy, because actually it's very easy instrument for identifying and predicting the future price movement. Why? Because there is no actually tools and additional indicators are required, because you look at the candle, where the high, where the low, where the open price, where the close price, and this gives you a chance to understand the future price movement. It's genius. It's very simple. And the only indicator is just a candle with price itself. A little bit of history. So the inventor of the candlesticks was a Japanese merchant, Munehisa Helme, which just invented, very convenient from his point of view, tool, candlestick, for just calculation rise prices. And traders, the lazy people, actually, they didn't invent anything new. They just used what appeared to be a very convenient tool for first displaying of the price and then for analyzing the price. Thus, the predicting of future price movement in the process of trading, which we from CLIQ FX Company suggest you to do, just visiting our site and open your live or demo account, because it's easy and it's very convenient, because its patterns actually exist in the ready-made form. So we are going to share with you ready-made patterns which you can take and use in the process of your trading. And when we look at the candle, we need to understand what does it mean. So the candle itself consists of a real body. It can be black or white, but you know from the previous webinars that all the colors are adjusted, so it can be any types, for example violet and pink, but in monochromic variant it's like that, white and black. White, it's believed to be actually a bull trade, bull candle, or the buy candle, and the black is sell candle and bear candle. The body, real body itself, shows us about the prevailing tendency while the candle was formed. If it was supply or demand, if it were buying, more buyers or more sellers, if it were more bulls or actually the bears. And candles themselves depict the struggle between bulls and bears in the market. Who has won actually? Who was the winner, who took the prize. And also the candle forms shadows or wicks, or in the traders slang it's a tail. I like tail. And what does it show? The tails show the fluctuation of the price, because price is always moving. And the open price is on the left and the close price is on the left of any candle. And when we look at the pattern, because pattern actually can consist of one candle, I will show you example in practice, and also from 2 to 3. We need to understand what this pattern means. Because, okay, you see candle, but how to read it? Then you need to know what signal does it elaborate, because it's a signal for buy or it's a signal for sell, and what to do, how to use it actually. And I would like to mention that patterns, candlestick patterns, can show us different variation of the future price movement. First, most of the patterns show us the reversion of the price and the version of the previous tendency. Then patterns can show us the continuation of the tendency. It's very rare. I will show you in the practice. And also the weakening of the tendency, and it's more signal not to buy, it opens, sorry, a new buy or sell position, but to close the previous one. And let's go to practice. The first pattern, first candle, because this pattern consists of single candle, is called DOJI. DOJI looks like a star. When and where actually the price, open price and close price are so close together that there is no real body. It's just a line. And DOJI classical looks like a cross. And DOJI is so popular pattern that it has lots of variation. As a classical DOJI, it appears when the market is paralyzed with indecision. So it can be a signal as for buy, either for buy or for sell. But the market needs a very strong factor to actually show the following movement. And when this factor appears in the market, the price, make sure it will deliver breakouts. So the confirmation of signal, because when we look at the pattern and say, okay, it's DOJI, what can we do with this? You need a confirmation of the signal. No matter how obvious the pattern is, you need the confirmation. So to open buy position, you need to wait until the next buy candle is formed. To open sell, you need to wait until the sell candle is formed. Also, DOJI has a variation of DOJI star. DOJI star looks like a cross but with longer tails, upper and lower. And of course we open position and set our stop loss at the highest high. If it's DOJI star, higher than the high of the DOJI star or lower than the low of the DOJI star. If it's DOJI, you need to find a local maximum or minimum. Next, we're going to talk about combinations or variations of DOJI. First, it's Dragonfly. Dragonfly looks looks like a dragonfly. Actually, it has long lower tail, and open close price is at the top. It appears at the bottom of downward tendency and shows us the reversion of the previous downward tendency into upward one. So this is the signal, very strong signal of the changing of the previous direction of the markets. It's a combination of one candle. I'm sorry, it's not a combination, it's just one candle. But nevertheless, you need the confirmation of the signal. And this signal is the next buy candle. Talking about Gravestone DOJI. This is the mirror reflection of Dragonfly, DOJI Dragonfly. It appears in the top of the upward movement and has very long tail pointing up with open close at the bottom. You also need the same rules, the same confirmation. So you wait until the next sell candle is formed to open sell position in this case. Of course, you set stop loss, high the high of the Gravestone, low the low of the Dragonfly. So this is the signal. DOJI is generally the signal of reversion of the price. We are going to talk about stars. All the patterns have very poetic names because they come from Japanese language actually. So star as DOJI have different variations. The star has very small body, real body, and it doesn't matter which color is it. As in morning star and evening star, it doesn't matter if it's sell or buy. If it's buy, the stronger the signal. If it's sell, the stronger the signal. So this is combination of three candles. First is sell, then comes gap. Then goes our morning star, and then comes gap again and buy candle. The confirmation of the signals. Necessary gaps between these candles. And maybe short tails. It's not a confirmation, but it's a feature. Actually, all this pattern has short tails, even the star. And also, the buy candle should be traded with bigger volumes. It will be a good confirmation for the opening buy position on the fourth candle. We set stop loss lower the low of the morning star. Evening star mirror reflection. The same rules are applied, the same conditions, the same confirmations of the signal. So we wait until the fourth candle is formed and we open sell position. We are going to talk about the third type of star, but a little bit later. Next, I would like to mention homing pigeon. It's also a signal of the reversion of the previous direction, and it was sell. So when you see two candles, because homing pigeon, it's a combination of two candles of the same type, and of course it's black and sell. First candle as a confirmation of the signal. First candle should be bigger than the next one. And if you remember very well the previous webinars that we have presented to you, we were talking about Larry Williams patterns. We were mentioning pattern inside day. So this combination looks like inside day from Larry Williams. So it signalizes about the weakening in the previous direction and possible changing to the upward one. And confirmation of the signal that the next third buy candle is actually formed higher the maximum of the homing pigeon. So you need to wait until it's formed higher the high of first candle, and only then on the fourth candle you will open buy position. If something not clear, please ask your questions. Dark cloud cover. Actually, this pattern which stands out from the previous ones because it has absolutely different meaning. It actually shows us that the previous tendency is going to end. And it's actually also a signal of the reversion of the previous tendency. So 2 in 1. So it was upward tendency, and when you see the dark cloud cover, because it's actually a combination of 2 candles, first is buy, second is sell, you're going to sell. And the market will probably change its direction. This combination looks like actually outside day of Larry Williams patterns also. And the confirmation of the signal is first, second sell candle must be bigger than the first one, and at least it must engulf the first candle at least at 50%. Not totally, but at least at 50%. Next candle can be buy or sell. If it's sell, that's fine, the stronger the signal. If it's buy, it needs to be open with the gap. It's also the confirmation of the prevailing downward tendency, and we open sell position over here. We're going to talk about hammers. Hammers has lots of variations, very popular patterns as well. And in classical hammer, we see the combination of 3 candles, which is also a signal, very strong signal of the changing of the previous direction. Classical hammer appears at the bottom of the downward tendency and signalizes about the changing into upward tendency. It consists of a body with absent or very short upper tail, but with long lower tail. And at least it must be like 2 times longer than the body. The body on the hammer doesn't matter, it's not relevant in this pattern, it can be sell or buy. The confirmation of the signal. The first sell candle must be less than the next buy candle. And the buy candle should be traded with bigger volumes. And one more confirmation, but it's not like a fact. The longer the tail of the hammer is better. So we open buy position on the formation of the fourth candle. Hanging Man, sorry, it's not me who actually invented the title. It's a hammer, looks like a hammer, but in the mirror reflection. But it also has the tail, lower tail, pointing down. But instead of a hammer which elaborates the signal for buy, it elaborates the signal for sell. The same rules are applied. Inverted hammer looks like hammer, but with the tail pointing up. As you can see, it's also as a hammer is formed at the bottom of the previous downward tendency. And we have the same rules and confirmations of the signals as well. And shooting star is the third type of star that I was going to talk. It's actually the mirror reflection of the hammer, if you look like that. It looks like inverted hammer because the tail is pointing up. And not to change, not to be confused, I would like to tell you the same rules, the same confirmations of the signal. That's why it's called shooting star, because of the tail, long tail. That shows us that the star is flying in the sky with long tail. But actually, if we are talking about shooting star, it's flying from the sky because it elaborates the signal for sell. So we need to enter the market on the fourth candle. It doesn't matter actually if it's sell or buy, but sell it's bad. Next, we're going to talk about 3 black crows and 3 white soldiers. These are patterns that stand out from the previous ones because they have actually 3 features. First, it's a reversion pattern. Of course, if you see 3 continuous or consequent sell candles forming up after another on the same level of the closing one, or at least at the level of the middle of the previous one, it speaks of a strong downward tendency, but also as a reversion, as well as the reversion signal, it can be a signal of the continuation of the previous direction. And if it's formed only under the condition, if it's formed within the trend or in the middle of the trend. And also, it's a signal of the price, that the price is leaving the flat. It's very important. It's very, very important. I will repeat, because actually it gives us a chance when we see this pattern to catch the trending and to make as much money as the trend, future trend, will give us. So we can be the first one who entered the trend. It looks like a combination of 3 consequent sell candles, and I told you that every opening price is in the middle of the close, or at least at the middle of the body. And actually we enter the market on the 4th candle. 3 white soldiers are the mirror reflection of the 3 black crows, as you can judge from the name actually, but they appear of course on the upward tendency. The same conditions, the same rules. Enter the market on the 4th candle, or this is the signal of reversion, breakout from flat, or continuation of the previous upward tendency. So this is actually everything that I would like to share with you on our today's webinar. And of course we have more and more information for you, more and more details to share with you. And if you want to get actually more profound knowledge, you can go to our site, CLIQ.com, and find education and find any suitable for your level of education that we give. Because actual information can stay only information if you don't put it into practice. So on our practical education courses, we will help you actually to put all the information and profound and comprehensive knowledge into practice. And we will be very glad to make professionals from you. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for staying with us. Stay in touch. Stay with us. This is CLIQ Company. And have a nice day and high profits. Hi guys. Bye guys.